times and low times, all in the nightlife. Miami sunrise will open your eyes, but when the day breaks, you feel the sun kiss. Is this paradise or what you wish? 'Cause I don't need your money, and I don't need your money. No, I don't need your money. You can
Hello, welcome to the tSports Network. I'm your host, Rob, and this is the home of tSports. I'm joined by Mr. Nathan Prescott. Hi, Nate.
Hello, good evening.
Are you excited to be in your very first ban show?
Yes, I'm going to ban them all.
Are you going to just focus on banning the players as opposed to banning any units?
Yeah, that's the way to do it. They're doing it the wrong way around.
They're not thinking on their feet. That's the main problem.
Don't play the ball, play the player.
Exactly. So welcome everyone to our second ever ban show. This week we've got two great teams. We've got WS10 versus the Dragonslayers. Now the WS10 are going to get to ban first, but with that coming up, we'll talk more about that in the future. But right now, let's talk about the two teams, Nathan. Before we get into the ban stuff, what would you ban? Like just coming out of the game, where it's at now in the meta, what are you thinking?
Probably the Seraphon book, all of it.
The whole book.
Yeah.
The whole book.
No, I think it's interesting, the ban thing. I think you want to try and ban stuff to guide the game in direction that plays to your strengths. So like we saw the Brucers banning a lot of units that slowed the game down, like Hearthguard and stuff like that, and they wanted to play a moving game. So yeah. So what would I ban? I'd probably look at shooting as well. I think the first ban we saw a few shooting and that sort of stuff banned. So yeah, I'll be looking at those nasty shooting guys and try and stop their bullets.
Agreed. I was really surprised that we didn't see Be'lakor banned actually last time around. I think Be'lakor is probably the most swing pick in the whole game at the minute, but we'll see if that changes up. Thank you to everyone for joining us live on Twitch. Hope you guys are excited. You can let us know with your emotes in the chat who you're rooting for. WS10 are red because they're going first, so if you want to do your red fingers, that's the new thing. Blue fingers for the Dragonslayers, although they have got their team colours the wrong way around. We'll be asking Tom if they've got an off shirt for the away team colours, like a blue one, but we'll see.
Just his skins and shirts.
Like a traditional Warhammer event. Yeah, skins and shirts. So the first team we've got WS10, one of the oldest wargaming, not one of the oldest, sorry, one of the biggest, we've got it the wrong way around, one of the biggest wargaming clubs, maybe in the whole world. Like they've got members all over the world. WS10 is based in Wednesbury. There you go, you can see them. Led by Nick Thompson. He's got Tom Parry in the team. Rich, who's going to be the guy doing the bans on screen. You'll see Rich in a moment. We're going to talk to him. And then they are subbing out James, who you can see in the image, swapping him out for Pirate P. That's right.
A terrifying prospect.
It is. They've got lots of prestige in this team. There's a lot of different armies that they can rifle through just from Nick. Nick probably owns almost every army there is, right?
Yeah, he's got a shed full of armies. Yes, and he's the one that's been going around hunting down dudes to join his club. So that's why they're spread far and wide.
Yes, exactly. And there are lots of options. So it's going to be really hard for the Dragonslayers to ban into them. But let's go over and talk to Rich. Now, Rich has been making some waves for the past few years in the competitive wargaming community. In all sorts of ways, and I'm very excited to see him play this weekend, especially bringing that tactical acumen. Rich, how are you? You well?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very, very well. Are you excited to be doing this today? Are you excited?
Yeah, overjoyed. I mean, literally gives us a bit of a break from the norm, doesn't it? And less than COVID worries.
It is. So you saw the band show last time. Between the Troll Slayers and the Brucers. What did you make of that? Did you pick up anything, learn anything, or are you going for your own style this time around?
I think, to be totally honest, there's a couple of characters you see there that I would have probably banned. I think Be'lakor was top on my list anyway. But yeah, it was a great experience, and as I've got to say to you guys, look, fantastic job. Really enjoyed it. Spent the entire Saturday ignoring the rest of the family and watching the stream online, which got me in a bit of trouble. But yeah.
Good. I'm really excited to see what you guys do and who you decide to ban. So thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you soon. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
It's going to make up for it this weekend, isn't it?
Exactly.
With the family.
With the family. It's nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be going. Their team has got like a bunch of different armies that they can pick from.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard for the next team to ban into. I think that's going to be important. And I think you pointed out that shooting is really, really relevant at the minute in Age of Sigmar. So, I don't know if you can even really affect that. What would you go for? Top pick or no thoughts?
Yeah, I think shooting is one of those things that sort of bypasses the movement phase a little bit, doesn't it? Because you've got the range on the weapons. So that's why I like seeing the good players play with the movement phase, because that's, I think, where tactics are shown. So it'd be good to see. Be interesting. And then there's crazy movement, like all those
teleports, pre-game moves.
So, I don't know. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm just very interested to see how these first few, like the first one was really interesting to look back at it, like exciting to watch it, the bits that I saw, and then obviously to mull over it over the next week leading up to the tournament. So yeah, I expect it's going to be something similar this week.
I'm excited about the first few bans and see how that turns into maybe an overall strategy, overall 5. Not forgetting both teams get to ban 5. More on that later. Coming up now, we're going to talk about the Dragonslayers. So Dragonslayers, one of the oldest wargaming clubs in the world. I think they're actually founded, is this right, by initially slaying dragons way back in the day.
Yeah. They taught that St. George fellow how to do it.
So you've got a really solid team here. You've got AD Mag on the left there, and then you've got Andy, you've got Tom, and you've got John Dale, the Hand of Dale, as some people do know him. Now, there's a lot of prestige in this team. Excellent war gamers. You've got some great sports, and you've got a bunch of really solid armies. You've got Nurgle armies coming out of AD. Andy can pretty much flip between anything. He's played Death really well, Fire Slayers really well, loads of tournaments under his belt. John, as far as I know, was the original Storm Fiend Skaven player. Yeah. So super innovative, but not really one that he doesn't generally tend to travel around to tournaments. But whenever tournaments turn up where he is,
he does well, consistently well.
Kind of like a dragon.
He goes to he's like a dragon. Yeah, I remember him phoning me for that first tournament I saw him at. Before I went, he just phoned me out of the blue, talked to me about Gloomspike kits, which were a moon clan at the time. And that's what he took to that tournament. I think he ended up playing against yourself out on the top table.
Yeah, he did. He did. One of the first events I ever attended, I obviously turned it up playing against John at I think it was Blood of Glory. It was a really fun game. I was playing against Orcs and Goblins, I think it was. It was pretty scary, but it's okay. I just shot him off. Welcome to Age of Sigmar, 4 years later. So their team coach is a man who needs no introduction if you know anything from The Honest Wargamer, Tom Layton. Now, he has got a massive prestige when it comes to pairings and also to organising team events because of all of his experiences at the ETC. He's one of the most capped mercenaries at any ETC event, and it's also 40k as well. So he's got lots and lots of experience. Yeah, loads of dollars. We'll ask him how many dollars he got. Let's go over and speak to Tom now. Tom, how are you?
I'm good, and I got $400, Nathan. Thank you. Wasn't great. That's all right.
Yeah, you can afford half a gargant now. Tom,
fantastic.
You're laughing.
Thank you. So generous.
So, Tom, obviously we can't ask about your strategy, but leading into an event like this, how much has that knowledge from international team events like the ETC and WTC help prep for something like this?
Well, mostly it was from last year, right? Because I was meant to be doing the pairings for Team Wales. And so I did a lot of prep for that. And I spoke quite a bit about that on a 40k podcast this week, where I was talking to the Australian captain who had actually completely independently done exactly the same thing, which makes it easier to sell to my team, which is the main issue. Regarding bans, obviously that's very, very different. Firstly, I'd look to ban the chat, but Nightbot's got that covered. Secondly, I'd like to ban the Chief Apothecary because that thing is broken. And then I think the Necron book has got some tricks in it as well. So I'm looking forward to getting some bans in so WS10 can't pick up any Necrons.
Okay. The problem is Tom's a bit of a 40k player, so he might not necessarily have...
What game are we playing today?
Yeah, ban Tom. That's what we should do. Thanks, Tom. Good luck. Good luck with all the bans.
Now, see you later.
So the Dragonslayers are going to go second in the ban phase. So WS10 first, they get one ban, 60 seconds to do that, which is being kept by a man behind the scenes, Mr. John Scrivens. Then going over to the Dragonslayers, they'll get 2 bans, and it'll be 2 each, with the final single ban going to the Dragonslayers. Yeah. You guys are going to be able to see this all now in our upcoming video, which you guys can check out.
Welcome to the Tabletop Sports Network, the home of tSports.
times and low times, all in the nightlife. Miami sunrise will open your eyes. But when the day breaks, you feel the sun kiss. Is this paradise or what you wish? 'Cause I don't need your money, and I don't need your money. No, I don't need your money, yeah, money. You can live it up and fill it up, and you can tell that I don't want to know. Oh no, 'cause money talks. So I talk with you. So
Back. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, Nath, the bands are up. And now we just wait. We just wait to see and find out who the bands are going to be. First band's going to be coming in from WS10, and we'll be finding out live. We won't hear their audio. They'll just be doing those bands as and when. It's very exciting. I think you can cut over to their. Maybe you can cut over to their image, John, as well. But Rich is deciding first band in. It's got to be Be'lakor.
So Rich is going to tell Scrivo, is he? And
Yeah.
Scrivo's going to chuck that fellow in the bin.
He's going to chuck it right in the bin. He's going to chuck it right in the bin. And that means it won't be usable for the entire event for the weekend. So that's going to be interesting. What does Rich think is going to be the top competitive meta pick right now to like shut stuff down?
He looks happy about it.
He looks really happy about it. He doesn't seem in any way perturbed. Yeah, he does look happy. We just wait to find out. Oh, he's a bit nervous. He's a bit nervous. He's not sure. But it's taking on the responsibility for a whole team is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait to see what it is. We'll hear from Scrivo soon what it is going to be. They have got 60 seconds, but I think this one... Oh, okay. So the first band coming up, which you guys will see on the screen in a moment, done by WS10, is Stone Guard. So that is the Lumineth Realm Lords unit, which are traditionally taken in Ymetrica, sorry. They're taken in Ymetrica builds, and they're really tanky, and they are very good at being -1 to hit and ignoring rend of up to 2 in Ymetrica. But it's not an anti-shooting pick.
No, they haven't got bows. Somebody else has got bows in their army.
The Sentinels.
And also, they've got stupid hats. So I would have banned them too.
So Twitch chat, yeah, let us know if you've also got a ban emote if you want to spam that up when one does get banned. That should come up soon. Tom now gets to go into 2 bans for the Dragonslayers, but you think that's a defensive ban. The Twitch chat seems to think it's a defensive ban as well.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see a few Sentinels board as a result of that.
Which means we might also see techless, and that changes the shape of the game significantly, because that means that there might be, like, it depends. If he does Sentinels and techless, you've got a strong power magic base. So now any like small magic that might get shut down, or even small characters, can be targeted pretty heavily by either the Sentinels or techless, which means whatever the Dragonslayers decide to pick, like they've got to be conscious that they don't put too many small wound characters on the board.
Yeah. It'll influence their list writing, I'm sure.
It will. Okay. Well, let's hope it doesn't. Let's hope it changes. Yeah. Okay. So everyone in the chat seems happy about that. Good ban. Looks stupid with weird hats. Everyone thinks it's defensive for sure.
Take them hats out of the game. Out of the game. Go, exactly, yeah.
Okay, all right. I think it means we can see a Luminous Realm Lords army, which is very exciting because I don't think we've seen them on competitive streams yet.
No.
We haven't seen them on competitive streams yet, so it'll be fun to see how they do. They're in all over. Good ban indeed, says Gitley. They should never use hammers with those hats. Good ban. Okay, everyone mainly enjoying the decision based on aesthetic choices, yes. I'm thinking. So going into the Dragonslayers 2 bans, we're just waiting to find out what they are from our man in the field, John. Find out what these are ASAP. It looks like a Keelian Morsar Guard. And one more time. Oh, wow. Wow, Nathan. So the two bands coming out of the Dragonslayers. Here we go. Morsar Guard, which is great because they dominated match 1, right?
Morsar Guard
are the offensive eels. And the frigates from Kharadron Overlords. Now, Kharadron Overlords are absolutely massive at the moment. They are everywhere. There's an event in Germany coming up soon. It's got 9 Caradron Overlords army out of 82 players.
Yeah.
It's
coming popular now, isn't it?
It's very popular.
Strong. And the frigate
is the safety ban.
No, well, I mean the frigate. I think the frigate is a staple in a lot of.
I'd say it's the ironclad, but we don't have to agree.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
I think because you see a lot of the formation with the frigate and the Arcanauts, where they can get out whenever they want in the movement phase, and that to me is one of the strongest battalions that the KO have got, and makes them competitive, really competitive.
Okay. Oh well, we'll find out exactly what to make of that ban in a moment. I think that the ironclad is the thing you almost always see all the time, and we'll see if. But the Morsar Guard being gone is fantastic. Yeah. It's been really good. Okay. So that means that we are in a place where maybe we're going to see more stable armies being able to be deployed, because you can build a more defensive bunker because of the Morsar Guard, right?
Yeah, I mean the eels list is all over the place. It's just a very it just catches you. It can catch you out, and so if you can play big defensive armies now and not worry about your back line being threatened by the eels. So, we're into the next.
Yeah, with the next 2 bans have come through. Battlesmith is like an integral key part of a Fire Slayers army. That's an offensive ban, as is the Mortek Crawler.
Yeah. So a lot of OBR lists are reliant on crawlers. Crawlers and harvesters are really good pieces in that army. If you take out one of those, and the crawler I think is key. So losing that is it doesn't put paid to the Bone Reapers, but you're going to see a lot less viable lists in that book.
Yep.
And then obviously the Battlesmith. It's a huge piece in the Fire Slayer army. So
it is. Although there are some builds that are not currently using the Battlesmith, and instead they're using the battalion that allows you to give +1 to units with a save instead of the Battlesmith. But you almost see a Battlesmith with an Obsidian icon. It's almost always, wow, these guys are not messing around. And then the Crawlers, and another excellent ban. Really excited to see the Crawler happen. Really happy with that. That's twice. That's the first unit that's been banned over 2 weeks. Then the Skink Star Priest and the Chaos Sorcerer Lord are 2 excellent offensive bans. Skink Star Priest is a huge force multiplier in the Seraphon army.
Yes.
Then it means they'll have to pivot if they want to go into something else. And the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is also excellent in almost every Chaos Force bar Skaven. It's great in Slaves to Darkness. It's great with any mark if you want to play marked Nurgle, if you want to play marked Khorne or marked Tzeentch. You don't tend to see it as much in Tzeentch, but it's just really, really solid and is a staple again in Slaves to Darkness. It pretty much shuts out Varangard lists, shuts out an Archeon list, or it makes it far more... I personally don't think the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is ever going to be a defensive ban, because it brings so much to an army. Yeah. There's unless they're building something different. I
mean, if you wanted to do a defensive ban for Slaves to Darkness, you could ban something else. That is a lot less viable, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, those are pretty big bands. Those are big bands by Tom. And if you look at the difference, it feels like it's safety bands coming out of the Dragonslayers. The WS10. But the Dragonslayers are going hard in. They're looking to shut armies down, I think.
The first one was definitely a safety ban. Battlesmith.
But the Morsar Guard was an offensive ban. No, it means no eels playable at all.
Yeah, that's an offensive ban.
Yeah.
So, but the Crawler and the Battlesmith are fairly offensive bans.
Yeah, they are. Oh, okay. So our last 2 bans coming in from WS10. John, if we could just get that. That is a Lord of Plagues and Flamers. Flamers. I think that's a Lord of Plagues. Lord of Blights. So that's going to stop the Nurgle. I think that stops the Blight King spam. Flamers, obviously, an integral part of Change Host. So Change Host is also out the window as well. So there's 1 ban left for Dragonslayers. Change Host being out is massive.
It looks like WS10 have decided that Sentinels can shoot, but Crawlers and Flamers should not be shooting.
From those guys at all. The final ban coming in. We'll hear it now. We'll hear it now from John when we hear it. Is Leighton's got the last ban, so the hook. Let's see what he decides to get. What do you guys think so far? Who's winning, red or blue? You get to do your little thumbs in the chat. Fire your finger guns off if you've subscribed. Apparently, WS10 hate Andy Hughes, trying to go after his Nurgle build, and it is Vanguard Raptors. So with long strike crossbows, that means they're shutting out the shootcast list. Now, some people might be like, think it's super weird to shut down shootcast, but it's like a big deal, and it's been making waves all across the world. Again, this event coming up in Germany, there's 5 Stormcast armies, 4 of which are shootcast. So they are really making a wave in the competitive scene and can do really, really well. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. So overall, there, Nathan, overall, we've got...
I think a lot of shooting armies have been hit there. I think the frigates are an integral part to a KO list, but maybe not. It'd be interesting to see if I'm proved wrong there. But definitely long strikes, the flamers and the crawlers, but then protecting the sentinels.
Protecting the sentinel. You're still on that. You're excited by protecting the sentinels.
No, I hate them. But I hate the other guys with the stupid hats more. So I don't know.
Okay.
Elves, it doesn't matter.
So I think this is Lee Bromley saying that this might be specifically targeting Tom from WS10, who's got a great shootcast list. Tom Parry, he does have a nice Stormcast army. Flamers shutting down Change Host. Crawlers, the first unit to get banned twice. Skink Star Priest. Can Seraphon, Nathan, perform? We saw 2 Seraphon armies last time. Yeah, so considering the change to the meta that we're going to see from last match, we saw 2 Seraphon armies. They both had Skink Star Priests.
Both skink heavy, weren't they?
They were.
You do have other options in that Seraphon book, obviously. So yeah,
There are loads of options.
The Star Priest is a great band. I think of everything in the book, it's probably the one that affects most builds.
You Star Priest, yeah, Star Priest.
Single band that would affect most.
Yeah, that's one of them. It's the most surgical ban you can make, and it's still not necessarily going to affect them.
It won't stop that book thing.
No. Chaos Sorcerer Lord is super interesting as well. I'm surprised we didn't see anything coming out of Skaven, especially because we know Nick's big love of Skaven in there. Also, Battlesmith is key, really interesting, and Longstrike Raptors. Anyway, a lot of offensive bans. We're going to jump over now and just go talk to Rich and see how he did, or how he thinks him and the team did WS10, and see what they think. Rich, how did it go?
Yeah, I think pretty good. What do you think? I think they're bit more developed than Tom's beard, at least, anyway.
Yes. Tom's beard's not as advanced, but maybe his banning is. There's some pretty strong bans coming out at the opposing team. Do you think that you managed to neuter them well, or did you create the meta that you wanted to create with your bans?
There's 1 or 2 little surprises there, but I think if anything, it was kind of they're on the similar thought process of ourselves. So, there's a lot of bands they were banning out before us, which was nice. So it let us go further down the list quite quickly. I mean, so some good options around. Should hopefully get some really interesting lists, actually. We're getting rid of Star Priest is something that we would have loved to see as well, but I say you're going to see a lot of Salamanders, Rob. I know you love them.
I'm not surprised.
And as promised by Darren Watson, you might even see a Gotrek. I might be taking his challenge up with a nice Gotrek just to add in for a bit of play.
Oh, perfect. Everyone listening at home, don't forget what you're listening to now is lies. Is someone lying to me on air so they can lie to the other team. But Rich, I hope it went well. I can't wait to see what lists you guys submit for the match this Saturday. Good luck. Thanks very much for taking part. How was the process? Did you enjoy the process?
Great fun, guys. It's weeks of planning come up to this, so it's nice to get together, sit around, have a couple of beers, and then watch it all get destroyed by Tom. So yeah, great fun.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. That was good. He didn't seem upset. He didn't seem rattled.
No. Yeah, I just think, it's always interesting when they say, "Oh, that was great. They were banning stuff we were banning, and we were able to ban stuff lower down on the list." It'd be interesting to see on the day if that was the actual case or not.
I was wondering if that's actually true. Yeah. All right, let's go over to Tom the Wizard Leighton. Let's see. Let's see if what he thinks. Tom, how do you think you did?
Listen, unfortunately, I work on a project called The Honest Wargamer, which means that I have to be honest with you and say that I am incredibly happy with how that went. It's not done yet. I mean, as Rich was saying, I'm sure like we banned some things that they were going to ban. Likewise, they did the same thing for us. But we've got quite far into these bans. I feel like they were pretty good for both sides, and we should have a good game on our hands. It should be fun.
Yes, yeah, some pretty strong bans. Like now it's the first time through the process. How are you feeling about it? Do you think it was useful? Like, was it nice trying to craft the meta for your players that they wanted?
I enjoy just kind of learning what all these units are, to be perfectly honest with you, mate. I couldn't tell you what a Mortek crawler is, but it's on their ban list. You know, fair enough. So
an interesting question is, like being a part of this process for the competitive Age of Sigmar community, especially as like the very razor sharp tip. Is there any unit in the game which seems to have got some unnecessary hate from you that you didn't really realize people would not like?
I don't think I know enough units yet, Rob. All I want to do is play with my big naked dudes. The one unit that has got a lot of hate are the Gargants, Rob. They've got a lot of abuse.
They have got a lot of abuse.
The rules team, apparently. And now I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, those are the main people.
They look really nice, and now I can't play with it. It's just going to look cool on the shelf behind the new light, and that's it.
Well,
very disappointed.
I mean, at least they could do that. That's important. All right, Tom. Thanks so much for taking part in the process.
Anytime, mate. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, he's buying like 4 Gargants. He's so excited. Being a merc for the ETC is just brilliant. Thank you very much to you guys. I know we've had some sound issues through this show, so we apologize about that. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's been fun. We're still going to unpack all this information and process what this means. We're going to do an after show later on. You guys will be able to see that. We'll break down the nitty gritty of the bans and exactly what we think the details were. But obviously, we'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So put some images out on Twitter, share some. What would you have banned? I'd love to. And also now the big question is, what lists are we going to see? That is the interesting part. Again, we saw Mortek's banned, but we saw OCRX taken. Mortek crawlers banned. Like, are we going to see Carriage and Overlords or are we not? Like, are we going to see Fire Slayers or are we not? We can't see Eels. We saw them twice last time and they banned the Morsar Guard. So I'm hoping we see no Eels now. That's the plan, but you never know. All right, well, Nathan, thank you so much for hanging out and doing this with me today.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you to you guys for joining in live. Don't forget, Thursday we'll get the list, but Friday we'll do the list reveal show and you guys will be able to see exactly what they are. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys at the weekend. This has been tSports.
The high times and low times